Good morning, my beautiful friends. It's so lovely chatting with you again. I get so excited sharing with you guys. I really love it. Whenever something kind of happens that I feel, my community can learn from this, I love to get on and have a chat and just share, hoping or knowing that you will get some kind of inspiration, just a little message, or just a little maybe nudge, or little bit of gentle movement that your soul actually needs. Sometimes I might share and you might feel a little bit resistant. You might feel like that's not really applicable to me, or I don't really need that right now, but your soul knows. And sometimes we can resist those things that we know that are good for us or that are needed. So what I want to share with you this morning is first of all, just open up your mind. Like, I love what Wayne Dyer says. He says, have a mind that is open to everything and closed to nothing. Just whenever I have a chat with you, just open your mind to feel into how this could relate to something that you're experiencing in your life, or maybe it's an episode that I might share that you might go back to and may need to re-listen to again, because I know that a lot of wisdom comes through that I get guided to share, because I have really amazing, beautiful community that I know really get a lot out of what we have to share, what we have to offer in our studio, on our different platforms. We have just full of an amazing community that we really value each other, and we really love to open ourselves up to learn from one another. And I love that. I really love having like that sisterhood of girls that just lift one another up, that are like-minded, because I know you've probably experienced as well. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of, knocking girls down for other people to feel good in themselves. There's a lot of not feeling good enough because we're comparing ourselves to other women or other businesses or other people or other mothers. We're constantly comparing ourselves. So when I chat with you, I really want to encourage you to go back deep into your heart and soul and go, what can I take out of this that applies for me? If I was to kind of block everybody else out, block out maybe the mind that kicks in and goes, well, this is a little bit woo, or, resist it a little bit. I just want to encourage you to have an open mind and just really connect in with your heart and soul and just listen with an open mind and take out of it what you will, because I love to share. And I know and I trust that my guidance is going to impart some kind of wisdom with you, or leave you with just a little gentle bit of a revelation, maybe something that it will uncover within your heart and soul. So I may share stories about what I'm experiencing, but I want it to relate back to you and put it into your own context or your own world in how it can relate to you. So let me dive in. So this morning, right, I love my spiritual practices first thing in the morning. Like, I get up super, super early to have that peace and quiet before the family wakes up. I crave it. I love it. It's like I'm addicted to the sun. I just need to kind of be out there when the sun rises. And I've learned to honor that. And there's a couple of big takeaways that I have had happen this morning. So at the time of recording, we're going through, it's a full moon at the moment. It's a full moon in Leo, which is all about stepping into your power. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, is about stepping into your own personal power, stepping into that side of yourself that maybe you keep hidden, maybe you're afraid to be seen. So you kind of hide it behind closed doors a little bit, or maybe you've got all these ideas of, you got visions, you got things that you want to do, but all the limiting beliefs kick in, like, who am I to do that? I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I can't do that. I don't have time. I don't have money. All these limiting beliefs kick in. I experienced it too. I absolutely experienced it too. It's funny. I went with a group of girls to a networking. I went to 2 networking events last week because I feel really ready to put myself out there a lot more. I've spent a bit of time in hibernation, big spiritual journey the last 2 years. And this year, at the start of 2025, I've just felt this real urge, like it's time for you to stand up. It's time for you to get out and network. It's time for you to get out in front of the camera more. It's time for you to put yourself out there more. It's time for you to be more of a leader. It's time for you to meet more amazing women, because sometimes you can feel like you're on your own. As a business owner, you can feel like you're, on your own. If you're a mum, sometimes, like the world can be going on around you when you've got this newborn or these little kids and you feel like you're on your own. When you're working, you're juggling work, you're juggling family, you're juggling kids, you've got so much going on. you can feel a little bit like you're on your own. Maybe you're doing it on your own. Maybe you feel like that little bit of a lack of support from your partner, or, you just feel like everything kind of weighs on you. So I feel it's really great to connect with like-minded women and share our stories, share our experiences, and just know that we're not alone. Because like I had an experience last week. I had a post come up on one of like a girls in business that I'm a part of on the Gold Coast. There's like 40 odd thousand women are there and something. And a post come up about wanting some speakers as a guest speaker on their podcast. And I thought, yeah, I'll comment and put my name down. And then all of a sudden I had this thought, like this block, this limiting belief pops in and says, there's a lot of other speakers out there that are better than you. There's a lot of other women out there that have been in business for a lot longer than you. There are women out there with more experience that probably have a bigger audience. Who are you with your small group of followers? Like all the limiting beliefs come in, meaning I'm not good enough or I'm not feeling worthy enough. Now, I know I have a lot to offer. I know you have a lot to offer. I know that my messaging comes from the heart. I know I channel and I speak and I share a lot of wisdom that just pours through me from the heart. But then your mind kicks in, like you have this inner soul knowing, yes, I'm capable. Yes, I'm good enough. Yes, I'm worthy. Then all the ego limiting beliefs kick in, right? Like, who am I to do this? You think about all the other women, and then you start looking outside instead of putting your blinkers on and focusing on what you're doing. So I shared this story at a networking event. I was quite vulnerable and open enough to share. We're talking about our blocks, and I kind of put my hand up and said that. And the girls were like, oh my goodness, like we feel the same. We feel exactly the same. But if you actually, like a couple of girls who've been in business for a long time said, if you actually knew the truth behind closed doors, I work with some of these women who, have big followings or appearingly, big businesses. And all of those facades that can come across on social media, they said, like, it's not always what you think. And you know that, I know that, but we still block ourselves, right? We still hold ourselves back. So these are something that we're going to continually work through. We're going to go through layers and layers and layers. You'll feel like you will feel comfortable in one area of your life, and then boom, you'll get hit with another block or another limiting belief when you're trying to step up to that next version of yourself. So this is normal, my friends. Like, this is something that I go through, you go through, every single person will go through at some stage in their life. And if they don't, they're just not telling you the truth. Like, it happens to all of us. So I was sitting in a little bit of that, but then getting out and meeting all these beautiful women, I started to feel like, this is so good. Like, I felt empowered. I felt I made beautiful connections, and I really walked away kind of stepping in my power, feeling like, yeah, this is my time. Like, this is my time to share a lot more of my messaging publicly, and no more playing small, right? Like, no more dimming your light. And I'd been going through a lot of meditations, a lot of deep inner meditations myself, through visions that would pop up. Like, for example, one this morning, and again, I ask you to have an open mind and understand, like, I have been going through a meditation practice for many, many years. Everybody's meditation experience is so different. Like, you cannot judge yours on what somebody else does, and just know that you're at the right place at the moment, and whatever is coming up for you is where you're meant to be right now. So I've been practicing for a long time. I've done so much work with healers, kinesiologists, energy healers, Reiki, like learning, doing a lot of spiritual development, spiritual coaching, mindset. Like, I've done a lot of work, and I will still continue to do the work on myself for forever. And anyway, so some of my meditations can come, my visions that I can go through can be very powerful and very confronting. So for instance, this morning I had a meditation where I felt that I met with past versions of myself. So like past lives. I felt that I could see past, it's almost like a movie screen, kind of, playing across this screen was like a clip where I was in a past life as I want to say like a healer or a good witch or something like that, being burnt at the stake. This sounds really trippy, I know, hear me out. But for for speaking up and for being the truth and not being accepted by people. So that fear of putting yourself out there that I may have can come not from just my current conditioning, but from past things that our souls have been through and our souls have evolved through. So there might have been, I just got this feeling that in a past life I was kind of condemned for my healing ability, my sharing ability, my ability to, because it was different. The woo stuff was different, right? And so I had a vision of that flash up. I had another vision of just a few different scenes that took me back, one to like a kind of tribal scene, another one that took me back to like an Egyptian type scene. And then there were messages in each of those scenes. And then what I could see in my meditation this morning was like I had to cut ties, or like a balloon, kind of that memory in a balloon that I was cutting off and just letting go. Like, those limiting beliefs that I had from what I've been through in the past no longer apply to me at this time in my life. I am safe. I am safe to experience what I need to experience this time. I'm safe to share. And I just kind of felt in that meditation that I've been feeling, sometimes it can be blocks that you experience in this time and space and reality that can come from maybe generational trauma, generational experiences, past life experiences, things that happened as a child that you might have subconsciously kind of buried down deep inside or just kind of blocked out. And when we work through and we kind of become aware of these things and we come into that space of I'm safe now, like the version of me now is safe, that is not in my experience anymore. What can I learn from that? And choosing to let it go. Moving through that, how it can almost, I felt like in this meditation, the part of me that was sitting in the physical form having the meditation, it almost felt like this armor was released for me, or like these, maybe think like chains or restraints or these, like these limitations that we put on ourselves. It was almost like I felt like they were releasing. Every scene that I went through, I feel like I felt when I released it, I've yawned. I just felt this big yawn, like a release, and I would just take my hands up and meet my hands in prayer and just go, thank you, but that's not my experience now, and put my hands on my belly. I'm safe. And this happened every single time. Like I had this big yawn, like a big shift, and I felt like I let it go. And then what happened, I felt like I was releasing that part of the me that's sitting here now. I just felt like I just had this big expansive breath, this big yawn, opened up my heart and soul, and just felt like a big, almost like a shiver, like a yawn, that I just kind of let that part of me go. And then in my meditation, I felt that I saw these almost like archangels and some, I swear I was in some kind of Indian past life or tribal kind of past life, because I don't know why, I just feel this real connection. And your soul knows, right? I don't have to logically know why, but your soul knows. And I felt like this kind of rising up, like they were kind of rising me up, going, like sending me, and like I just felt this surge of energy running through my body, going, like now is your time, like now is your time to just let your authentic self be seen and let your authentic self be heard, and encourage other women to do the same. And so all of these things were going on through my meditation. And what happened when I come out of my meditation, I just felt a little bit lighter, a bit freer, a bit more expressive. I pulled out my phone because I'm at the moment I've been diving into working on this 8-week return to authenticity coaching program, like a mentoring program, teaching you how to have these spiritual tools, teaching you to equipping you with all of these different rituals, practices that can help you basically navigate through your life and help you. Like I have girls say to me all the time, I don't make time to care for myself. I don't know who I am anymore. I just feel so lost. I feel so unhappy. I feel like I've lost myself in my role as a mum. I feel like people don't get me anymore, and I feel like I don't align with the people that I'm hanging around. I'm not fulfilled in my work. I hate my job. I just feel like I've lost my creativity and my passion. And I hear this all the time, and I keep thinking to myself, I just need to help you connect your heart and soul back with that alignment, because our soul has come here for for experiences, for lessons, for a bigger purpose, and you're living out this reality. But when you feel a disconnect with what you know in your heart and soul you want, but the reality that you're living out does not match, you can feel this disconnect, and it can come up in the way of emotions of feeling anxious, depressed, unhappy, just overwhelmed, just fatigued, just pissed off, just so angry, or just really like you just misaligned and you don't know who you are, and you just have so many questions going through your mind, and you just get so busy reacting to life, right? We get busy in the rat race, we get busy doing all the things that we have to do to survive, to keep our head above water, to fit in, to compare, to keep our jobs, and we're just kind of fitting in, pleasing everybody else, but often it comes at the expense of pleasing yourself. So I've been sitting on this for a couple of years, right? I've been sitting on this for a little while, but I know I had to go through these last 2 years of this deep dive spiritual journey for me to become a better teacher, and for me to take all the lessons that I have I've learned over these last few years, my lessons prior to that as a personal trainer, working with women, coaching women, and package it up into this holistic package, teaching you to work on your body, mind, and soul, and get you back aligned with your authentic self. And girls, it's going to be amazing. Like, I've got 8 weeks mapped out. Every week we're working on a certain theme. Like, the first week's all around removing your limiting beliefs and your blocks, but having awareness in what they are. And I've got all these amazing tools: how to connect in with your feminine energy, how to connect in with your intuition, how to manifest, how to step up into your personal power, how to open your heart and soul to receive, how to nourish yourself. Like, it's going to be so amazing. And I've got all these ideas, but they're just have been coming to me, and I've been working through the blocks, right? Working through the layers of self-doubt. Is it good enough? Like, all the things that, and I know it's epic, right? I know it's epic. And so what happened this morning, I come out of my meditation and I pulled out my phone and I wrote all of these notes down. It was like it just flowed so easily and so effortlessly. I wrote down like my whole page for my website, content for social media. I had, it seriously felt like it just streamed out of me in like half an hour. And I'm like, oh, that was easy. Some of these things I've been battling with for weeks, right? Like, as an example, my marketing and my, all of my social media and because I'm going to give you guys like a booklet, like an 8-week booklet. So there's a lot of work involved in this, right? An 8-week booklet to work through, because every day we are diving into uncovering parts of ourselves. So I wanted to support it with a booklet. I had created part of it, and I would just sit there and go, it's not quite right. And I know that some of, like, for instance, the photos that I had on there, beautiful photos that I had taken from a professional photographer. So everything looked beautiful on this booklet that I'd created, but I just sat there looking, going, it's not quite right. And it clicked with me. It's the old version of myself still with my implants, right? And so I'm like, I've just leveled up so much since then. And then I just had this thought this morning: pop in your marketing, go and change the image, change the colors, change the image to this beautiful photo that I had taken by the pool in Bali on my last retreat. Like, it's just, I love it. It's so natural, it's so authentic. It was just snapped like that. And here I am thinking, like, I look at what other people do. They go and they market something, or they put something out there. They go and, get a professional photographer, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I've done that and I will do it again in the future, no doubt. But I was holding myself off because of perfectionism. I was holding myself off because I need to do a photo shoot. By the time you book that in, pay for that, it takes a little bit of time. I need to do this, I need to do that. Whereas this morning it come to me, I just need to get my shit out there. Like, that was what was coming through to me. Just get it out there. It doesn't have to be perfect, because you will tweak it along the way. And I know, because I've done this before. I've launched things, and as we grow and we evolve, we make changes. That's just part of life. But I was putting so much pressure on myself that it had to be absolutely perfect. So then this morning in my meditation, I just got this quick vision of this image from Bali, and it just go and drop that into your marketing. So I went, dropped it in within no time. Like, I'd recreated this booklet, and I sat back. I found like just one of my favorite fonts. So I'm like, this just looks good, and it feels right. It feels right for my messaging. It feels right for that authentic version of me that I'm encouraging you to step into, that it really just felt so aligned. And I sat there and went, that was easy. Like, that was so easy. Why have I been blocking myself? All I had to do was come into that quiet space. And look, don't get me wrong, I have been dropping into that quiet space for the last, I don't know how long, writing content for this course and coaching program, mentoring program, whatever you want to call it. I have been dropping in and getting all of the information and all of the downloads that have been coming through to map out. I've got the whole 8 weeks mapped out of what I want to teach. Every week's got a theme. We dive into every day in that week to work on a little, uncovering a little bit more of ourselves. So I've had that all mapped out. What's been holding me back is just presenting it to you guys, right? And it all come through to me effortlessly. I've been chipping away behind the scenes, kind of having it on Canva, but not quite right. Then in an instant this morning, it's like everything poured through. And I'm like, that's right. Like I just had to get out of my own way and just strip back the layers and go back to what is it that I really want to share. It's authenticity. It's getting back to your heart and soul. And that photo, that marketing, everything that I shared really represents for me that getting back to the essence of who I am and putting that into all of my marketing without the need to have it professionally done, without the need to have it perfect. It looks beautiful already. So that was one big takeaway that I had this morning, was just how when you drop into that quiet, calm state of a morning, you get guidance, you get wisdom, you get creative ideas, you get inspiration. But what happens? We often get so busy running around, we don't give ourselves the time and space to do that. For me, it's the morning. For you, it can be other times of the day, right? Whatever works in for you. And your family and your work. It's the point of getting back connected to that time where you can give yourself space to just be. So that was one big takeaway, was the creative inspiration, but also stepping into my power. So 2 takeaways in my meditation this morning. And I know for you, when you start to step back into yourself and work through some of these blocks and work through some of these limitations and getting out of these subconscious beliefs that we carry over and over for years and years and years, it's amazing how much clarity you get. It's amazing how much insight that you get, and it's amazing how much you get guidance, you get ideas, you get wisdom. You don't have to do what I've done. Like I sit in my own personal meditation journey. It's up to you with where you're at. It could be starting at a meditation class. It could be starting with guided meditation. It could be coming to a yoga class and just taking that bit of time to get connected to your body again, get connected to yourself again in yoga. And then when you step into that, to the Shavasana at the end, it really connects you into your heart and soul. It could be grounding, going out in nature, doing what you love, whatever it is for you to help bring you back into that peace, that tranquility, that calm, that connects you with the earth angel. It connects your physical with your spiritual. That's where you get so much guidance and inspiration and intuition. Then what happened, right? So all of that has unfolded for me. And I was going to go and walk the dogs. I got held up with a few things. I was a bit late because obviously all of this stuff was channeling through me. And this is still part of my work. Like I love working first thing in the morning when I get these ideas. So for me, my work is all different hours. It's all over the place, but that's how I want to operate. And so it's different for you, okay? So anything that I share, relate it to what's right for you. So then what happened, I was a little bit later going for my walk than what I'd planned to. I got chatting, as I do, with most of the neighborhood. And I got to a certain point where I was about to turn around and I was about to come back. And something said to me, because I had a goal, to go up and do this beautiful big walk, get up to the lake, go around the lake, and then kind of come back. And I hit a point, I wasn't at the lake yet, and I was ready to turn around. I was like, I've got so much to do. I've got things that I need to get home and do. I should just turn around, and I just don't know if I can be bothered going because I'm so late already. Something kicked in and said to me, just go, just keep going. And the same thing has happened to me with a few, like with this, I'll use an example lately with this 8-week program that I'm creating, this coaching program. Part of me, I've had some thoughts over the last week or two. I've had thoughts where you go, it's a lot of work. Like it's a lot of time and energy and a lot of work. I'm so inspired. I'm so passionate. But then the ego kicks in and goes, go back to what you're comfortable doing. Because, I think about the work putting it together, the work marketing it, the work getting it out there to the community and to the wider community. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of video content involved. Like there's so much work involved. But when I'm doing it, it doesn't feel like work. But if you were to think about the whole picture, you go, oh my gosh, like there is just so much to do. When I focus on just what's the next step, like today, I created my marketing page and my page for my website, which I felt so aligned that it really spoke to you. But if I was to think about everything that has to be done, I feel overwhelmed and I feel like I just want to stop and turn around. Like I was on my walk this morning, I go, oh my gosh, it just feels overwhelming. It feels too hard. And I know you felt this at times too, where you kind of just hit that barrier where you go, I just need to push through. It could be like when you're about to turn up to your first class, or you're about to do something unknown. It's stepping into the unknown, right? It's stepping out of your comfort zone. If you were to think about every little thing that's involved, you could feel like, oh my goodness, this is so hard. It's so overwhelming. There's so much work that you just sometimes stop like a deer in headlights. And what I want to encourage you to do is just push through that comfort zone. Because what happened this morning on my walk, I'm like, nope, I need to go. And I'll continue. I continued on my walk because it was starting to rain a little bit as well. So I had, let's just say the word challenges, but they weren't related to what that big picture thing that I'm talking about with your business, your idea, what you want to do. There can be roadblocks. There can be little challenges along the way, like there can be things that detour you that make it feel like it's taking a little bit longer. Like on my walk this morning, like I'm chatting with everybody along the way because I love talking to people, but yes, sometimes it can make me a little bit distracted and then make me a little bit late. I was, late because of other things that were going on this morning, that they can be like little roadblocks to make you go, oh no, bugger it. I'll just turn around and I'll just stop and I'll just turn around and come back. So I decided, nope, I'm going to push through. So anyway, I kept walking and I got to the lake. And as I'm about to turn the corner to come around to the lake, what happened was my blue kingfisher bird that I have not seen since I've moved here, almost 8 months, flew straight in front of me, did this beautiful, big, huge loop around the lake, and then landed in a tree. And I just had tears well up in my eyes. For me, it's a spiritual sign from the universe. It's a sign from my Alpa that he's with me. It's a sign that I'm being supported by the universe. It's a sign that I'm being supported by my heart and soul. It's a sign that I'm following my guidance. So you may not really be into signs yet. It might be a new thing for you, but one thing I've understood, if you feel it's a sign, it is. If there's something that you keep going, that's my sign, it is. It's what relates to you. For me, when my grandfather passed away, and I was at a kinesiology appointment, Jody said to me, I feel your Ulpa's with you and he's showing up in some an animal form. My first thought was a stallion because he was Maltese, he trained horses, and I just thought of this big Maltese stallion. She said, no, I'm thinking a bird. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this morning before I come to this kinesiology appointment with you, there was a little blue kingfisher bird sitting on my pool fence. I have not seen that bird ever in my backyard, ever. And so from then on, I started to, every now and then I would see that bird and it would relate for me to my grandfather. There's been uncanny times, I cannot explain it. I've been sitting down reading my grandfather's book on my back patio, and Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive, it just escaped me, it'll come back to me. The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale, the only book my grandfather ever owned, and I took his book and I was reading it. I felt this shiver and a little something was on the back of my shoulder. I turned around and my bluebird was sitting on my fence. There's been other times where I've been on my walk thinking about him when I used to live in my old place, and I would see him fly past and land up in a tree like a sign that he's with me. Since we've moved to this house, I hear these blue kingfisher birds. I know the calling and I hear them every single morning. I have not seen one since I've been here. So for me, it's been good because it's kind of made me understand too that you don't need to see things with your physical eyes. You can sense it, you can hear it, and you can have this knowing, because for me, my clair sense is this clair knowing and clair feeling in my gut, and just an intuitive nudge. Some people see things. For me, it's more of a feeling. And so it was always this confirmation that when I was in my spiritual practice of a morning, you're on the right path. I could hear the little bluebird in the distance. But this morning I saw him for the first time that I've been here in 7 months. And I just felt this emotional rush. Like I felt this big shiver, and I just felt this thank you. It was just thank you for reassuring me that through pushing, when I wanted to turn around and come back, I kept walking, and my top spiritual sign was there waiting for me. And it was like a reward. It was like that kind of keep going, because if you push through that time where you feel like you're about to give up, you feel like it gets too hard, you feel like you want to turn around, you're doubting on yourself, you're not sure. When you push through those limitations, it's amazing what can be waiting for you on the other side, at the other end, when you get out of your own way. So it was a big wake up call for me this morning. And it was just a really big, beautiful lesson that I'm on the right path, sharing with you, doing all the things that I'm creating, my community, all of these things that I'm creating, that I'm working on, this belief in myself, this really stepping into my power. It's almost like it was solidified with that beautiful spiritual sign for me this morning. And I've had so many signs lately, like so many signs, seeing 444 like everywhere, 888 everywhere. It was just been out of control. But for me, that's like my number one sign from the universe that you're on the right track, and that I'm being guided, and that I'm being supported. So I wanted to leave that with you as well, like just to really trust in your signs, trust in the synchronicities, trust in yourself, trust in your wisdom, but just step it back and get into that place of where you are open to receive, whether it's, like I said before, your meditation, your yoga, on your walks, out in nature, out gardening, out in your creative zone of genius, whatever it is for you that you feel so connected with your heart and soul. When you allow yourself to get into that space, that's where you get connected with your intuition, and that's where you get creativity, that's where you get your motivation, that's where you get your inspiration, that's where you work through your blocks, that's where you get your signs and synchronicities. That's your divine feminine energy, girl, speaking to you right there. So I want to encourage you to really give yourself the space to tap into that and open yourself up to that energy, because it's your superpower. Your intuition is your superpower, and that's a real big part of my purpose, is teaching you how to connect in with that. Yes, I do the physical, the yoga, the meditation, the personal training, all the things that I have done over the years that I love teaching my community. But it's a combination, like that earth angel, right? It's a combination of your physical with that angelic realm, with that spiritual realm, with that soul realm and that soul part of you, and getting you back into alignment with that soul part of you. And that's what this 8-week coaching mentoring program is going to be all about. I'm so excited to bring it to you guys. And I'm so excited I had those signs for me today to know that I already knew, but it's just like that confirmation. And we all have times where we feel like it's too hard and it's too overwhelming, but it was that real encouragement to go, you're just on the right path. Just keep following the breadcrumbs, keep following the path, and you will get there, my friends, as will I, as will you. But get back to your authentic self, get back in alignment with your authenticity, because you're beautiful. You're powerful. You have everything that you need within. You just need to sometimes take away the mask, or take away that glasses, shift your perspective, turn inwards, go into your heart and soul, and see the beauty, see the power, see the magnificence, see everything inside that I know that is already within you, as it is in me. It's in all of us, girls. So I will love you and leave that with you. Have the most beautiful, beautiful day, angels, and I will chat with you in the next episode. So much love to you. Bye.